Hello and welcome to this free, it's about 40-minute lower body strength and mobility session. My name's Dan Spinks. I'm a movement and strength and mobility specialist here in Swansea, and I'm going to be introducing these in-person group sessions in the middle of October. So this is kind of a freebie to show you how the sessions will work. If, like me, you like being active, you've got sports that you love to do, activities that you love to do, be that running, triathlon, surfing, weightlifting, CrossFit, whatever, yoga, whatever it is. These sessions are designed not to replace it. These sessions are designed to help you keep doing those activities that you love for a long time to come. I have a long history of injuries and being in pain. Decades of skateboarding left me with many broken bones, pins and screws, quite a few operations, numerous concussions, and then getting into sort of high intensity exercise and weightlifting. I've picked up various niggles and injuries over the past. Lower back pain being a major one, suffered with that for 10 years. And turns out now I'm going through some diagnosis, started about 18 months ago for something called ankylosing spondylitis, which is osteoarthritis in the spine. That's a progressive thing, so it's consistently going to get worse, but I categorically am not going to let that stop me doing things that I like to do. I like being active. I like pushing myself, but I also now know and understand what my limits are, so I stay close to those limits. And what these sessions have done for me and the clients I've been working with have been hugely beneficial, because it makes them and myself really understand where those edges are and how I know how hard to push and when to rein it in, depending on how they feel. The sessions are designed to improve your joint mobility, specifically for the lower body one around the hips, because that's where I see a lot of issues. People who have stiff, tight hips, also it's very common that they have some form of lower back pain as well. So these sessions are going to help kind of not cure that, because it's pain and injuries are much more complex than that. That's where physios and GPs and things come in. My job though is just to help you move better, and then there should hopefully be a knock-on effect and help any sort of pain reduce and allow you to keep doing your chosen activity for a long time to come. This session is about 40 minutes long and goes through the same sequence, same template, where we're going to work on some breathing first, because our breathing is absolutely connected to our nervous system, and how our nervous system responds dictates how well we move. So we do some simple breathing in a warm-up, and this will show you some simple breathing techniques that you can take into your day-to-day life. We then go into some activation exercises, specifically from the foot up. Then we're going to move on to some rotation, and this is where our hips come into play. Then on to some strength, which you can make this as difficult or as kind of easy as you like, because this is all about the effort you put into the movements. No equipment is needed. You can use it if you wanted to, some dumbbells or some kettlebells, for example, but they are absolutely not required. And then we bring your nervous system back down then with some breathing at the end, because that's one thing. Recovery is so important for us to be able to keep doing the things we do. But what most of us doing, this is me included, been very guilty of this for up until quite recently, is I might finish a session at the gym or training or whatever it is, and then I'll do a couple of minutes of stretching, jump in the car, go home, sit down in front of the TV, phone, computer, whatever. Whereas we don't actually properly down-regulate our nervous system to allow it to recover better. So there'll always be a 3 to 5 minute recovery session at the end. So the whole session is about 40 minutes. Any questions about any of it, please send me a message. You will have my details towards the end of the video, my email, my Instagram. Keep an eye on my Instagram and my Facebook, where I'll be posting when the sessions are going to start and where they're going to be. It's going to be around mid-October, 2 sessions a week to start with, and that's going to be 1 for the lower body, 1 for the upper body. But like I said, these are designed to help you keep doing the activities you want to do and not to replace them. If you love yoga, keep going to yoga. This will help that. If you love CrossFit, keep going to that. This will help that. Same with triathlon, running, surfing, skating, whatever it is. The idea is for you to build a really strong, confident, comfortable, anti-fragile, to allow you to move fearlessly without potential of injuring yourself. We can't take out injuries completely, but we can absolutely give ourselves the best chance of it not happening. So enjoy the video. Do this as many times as you like. Share it with somebody, pass it on to somebody you think might help. and hopefully I'll see you in the in-person sessions in the future. Welcome to this free session of my Fearless Flow mobility and strength sessions. I'm going to take you through an entire working of how these sessions will work. The idea is we start to understand how our breathing affects our movement. We build up through some rotation through our hips. This is all designed for the lower body, the hips, knees and ankles. If you're a recreational runner, triathlete, train at the gym, anything like that, these are designed to help your hips, knees and ankles stay in top shape so that you can keep doing the thing you want to do. It's not designed to replace it. It's not yoga, it's not Pilates, it's kind of using a bit of everything to help build some strength, stability and confidence in your movement. So we start off with some breathing designed to open up our respiratory system, because the majority of these movements are going to be done breathing through our nose. There are going to be occasions where you're going to want to breathe through your mouth, but you want to be really comfortable breathing through your nose. The entire session is done, each part is done within a minute. So within that minute you work however long you work for. It might be 20 seconds, it might be 30 seconds, it might be 40 seconds, but you're using that minute to get the work in that you can do within it. I'm going to show you each movement, how to perform it, what you should feel as we work through it. So to start off with, we're going to do 5 rounds, 3 inhales and exhales, all through the nose if you can. On the 3rd exhale, you're going to blow all the air out, hold your nose, and then you're going to run on the spot until you feel the urge to breathe. Just breathe in, again, still through the nose. Go back to some slow breathing, and then we're going to repeat that 5 times. So we're going to start with that. So you're just going to breathe in through the nose and out. And again, in and out. Last one, in and out. Hold your nose and jog on the spot. Back to 3 breaths. One. 2. 3. Exhale all the way. Hold your nose, jog on the spot. Back to breathing. 1. 2. 3. Exhale all the way, hold and jog. Back to breathing. This is round 4. 3. Exhale all the way. Hold and go. Last one. Third breath. Exhale all the way. Hold and jog. And down. So if I go back to 3 normal breaths. You may have found doing that your nose has opened up a little bit and feels a bit more free. That's kind of what the point of that heart rate's up a little bit too. So the first thing we're going to do, activating feet and hips, because that's the majority of this. Everything's going to be done on the minute, and I'm going to talk through the movements as we go through them. So find a bit of space on the floor. The first thing we're going to do are foot crunches. So you're literally trying to crunch your foot down as hard as you can, and then open it up again. And we're going to do 1 minute on the left side, 1 minute on the right side. So the clock is just going to be running throughout now. So crunch that foot, open that foot. Crunch it, really trying to squeeze it together. With these movements as well, match your breathing to the movement. So breathe in as I crunch. Breathe out as I curl back. Over the nose if you can, breathe in and out. In, out. What I'm not doing here, I'm not trying to pull my ankle back, I'm just trying to pull my toes back. So crunch the toes together, 10 seconds and then we're changing feet. 5, 3, 2, 1, swap sides. Crunch together. Imagine trying to pick up an apple with your feet. Breathe in and crunch. Breathe out and extend. The more we can open up our foot's ability to move, toes to a big range of motion. I'm not necessarily saying this is going to cure this, but I know a lot of people who struggle or suffer from plantar fasciitis, pain across the bottom of the foot. We don't manipulate our feet muscles very much, so this is going to help. 5 seconds and we'll move on to the next movement, which is a pelvic tilt. So laying on your back, feet flat. So I'm just trying to tuck my butt, not as hard as I can. I'm just trying to tilt it. Place your hands kind of on your pelvic bone here, and then tilt it back the other way. So tilt under, and then back. Make sure this movement is coming through the hips, not the lower back. Again, matching your breathing. Breathe in on the tilt. Breathe out on the opposite tilt. Remember, we're not trying to push it as far as you can. We're just trying to get the hips moving without the lower back kicking in. In, breathe out. In, out. Okay, then we go back to the feet. We're going to do 2 rounds of this in total. Again, crunch the feet down. Try and grab that apple. Pull the toes back. Breathe in all the way down, out on the extension. We shouldn't be feeling too much up here. This is all foot. Seconds and we're changing feet. 3, 2, 1. On to the other side. Crunch and breathe in. Extend and breathe out. highly recommend doing this whole session without shoes. The more time we can spend without shoes, the better. Whenever you're at home, shoes off. If you've got young kids, just watch out for Lego pieces. We all know that have been scarred by standing on Lego barefoot. Okay, after this movement, we're moving on to the next part, which is rotation. Mostly through our hips. 2 movements. We're going to run through this 3 times, a minute on each. 3, 2, 1. So the first movement, rock backs. We're just going to go hands and knees. Imagine there's a bowl of water balanced on your back, and you're just pushing your butt back to your heels, and then forwards. Breathing important with this. Breathe in here. Breathe out as you go back. In all the way out. Out on the way out. We're trying to rotate purely through the hip here and not arch our back. Nothing wrong with that, we're just not doing that on this occasion. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And in 5 seconds, we're then moving on to our hip rotations seated. So you're just going to sit here, feet about hip to shoulder width, and you're just going to drop both hips to the side and then back to the other side, called windscreen wipers. And again, match your breathing to the movement. So we're going to breathe in, breathe out the outside. Inhale to the right, exhale to the left. Nothing forced. Just trying to introduce some movement through the hip, rotation through the hip. In our day-to-day life, we don't actually rotate the hip very much, especially if you're a runner, triathlon, anything like that. Everything is straight up and straight down. Your feet and your legs are moving up and down, and your hips aren't rotating much. So that's a minute. Then we're going to go back onto the rock backs, and then we're repeating this 3 times. So again, inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. In, out. Balance in that bowl of water on your back, don't let it spill. If this isn't very comfortable on your knees, you can always chuck a cushion underneath. Oh, that was a good noise. Clixify, as long as they don't hurt. Don't concern yourself with clicks and pops. Seconds, we're moving back to the windscreen wipers and straight to those. Again, I'm pivoting on my heels, feet aren't moving, just pivoting side to side. Breathe in, out, in, out. And as you're going through this, notice where does it feel stiff and tight? For me, it's the inside of the hip as my knee goes down. The outside is okay. So that's showing me that my hip's ability to rotate inwards is lacking compared to the way it can go outwards. And again, it's not a problem. It's just something I can work on, and that's what this does. Okay, so one more round. Onto the rock backs. In, out. In, And as this starts to feel more comfortable, you can take the knees and feet slightly wider, which will allow you to sit a little further, improving that range of motion a little bit. Always trying to get as much movement and as range through our joints as we can. Another 10 seconds. And last one on windscreen wipers. And all these movements are designed so these sessions are going to build. We start off with the easy breathing, activation of the muscles, now the gentle rotation of the muscles before we actually move into the strength part of it. Breathe in, out, in, out. So the first few parts of this are very low impact, preparing your joints and everything for the more challenging strength portion. 10 more seconds. We've got 3 parts of the strength session, 1 minute on each again. Okay, so the strength part now. First part, kickstand. We can spend a little bit of time talking about this first. The kickstand hinge. I suffered with lower back pain for 10 years, and the amount of people I've seen over the years of working with people, I hear lower back pain just is really consistent. What I tend to see is a lot of the issues tend to come from the hips. People's hips just don't move very well, so all of their movement comes through their back. They either arch loads on certain things, or they tuck and around on certain things. So all the movement comes from here, where it should be coming from here. So this one is a fantastic exercise to really get you to wake up your glutes and move through the hips. So you're going to stand on one leg initially, bend your knee slightly, so the centre of your mass is over the middle of your foot. You're then going to place your other foot down purely for balance. All of your weight is going to be on that front leg. I want you to push, and this is the important part. The ball of your foot, your big toe knuckle, needs to drive into the floor. Don't let the little toe come off the floor. Heel can come off the floor. I'm not bothered about the heel. So I'm pushing my big toe down. My heel feels like it's slightly floating off the floor, and that's fine. So I'm driving that big toe through the floor. Then I'm going to place my hands just underneath my rib cage, between my pelvis where it's kind of soft, and I'm going to apply a little bit of pressure. As I breathe in, I want to be able to feel those hands moving outwards. So if you watch my hands as I breathe in, I'm pushing outwards. So as we move our hips backwards, I'm going to inhale. So pushing my big toe to the floor. As I push my hips back, I'm inhaling. What I'm doing is my knee stays exactly where it is. My knee doesn't move backwards or move forwards. It stays exactly where it is. I'm driving my big toe into the floor, but I'm trying to send my butt that way without letting my knee move, and that's what should make you feel here. So I'm going to sit back, breathe in. When I've got as far as I can, breathe out. Then I'm going to breathe in again and try and push my butt even further. Inhale, and I go as far as I can, exhale. But that big toe constantly pushing down, the knee doesn't move. And again. So now my butt is absolutely on fire, hamstring as well. But it's important when we breathe in that we can feel our hands expanding. As I breathe out, I'm trying to push my butt a little bit further. You might be able to see that my leg is shaking now. This foot is barely doing anything. Pushing that big toe into the floor, down, 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 down. Trying to push my hip. Imagine your butt and your knee really don't like each other. So your butt is trying to get away from your knee, and your knee is trying to get away from your butt, but without moving. What I'm trying basically to do is lengthen this muscle here and strengthen the hamstring here. You should, oh crikey, you should get to the point where that's what it feels like. That sensation, that shaking sensation. You want to go for anything between 30 and 45 seconds. That should be enough. If you can go for past a minute, you're not pushing hard enough with that foot. You want to really feel the engagement there. This takes a bit of practice, but this is hugely beneficial in teaching you to use the hip, engage the glute, engage the hamstring, connect everything from the ankle all the way up so that you stop using your lower back for all the movements. So that's what it's going to look like. We're now going to go into the actual movement for a minute or 45 seconds. So set yourself up, bend, big toe into the floor, hands on the ribs, breathe in, exhale, breathe in, push that butt back further, try and lengthen it, try to get this as long as you can. Don't let the knee move. You can see now I'm starting to shake. Feel your hands move on the inhale. Push the butt back on the exhale. And then come back up. Push your foot through the floor. Feel the engagement. So that really felt like it was going to cramp on the way up. That was 45 seconds. So onto the other leg. In 3, 2, 1. Big toe down into the floor. Breathe in, inhale here, push back. Don't let the knee move, big toe down. Breathe in as you exhale, push that butt away from the knee, big toe down, don't let it move, all the weight on the front leg. Mine's cramping already. Push that butt away from the knee, remember they don't like each other. Shake it like hell. That's 45 seconds. So stand back up, push the foot through the floor, use your hamstring to come back up. So that's that movement, 1 minute on each leg or 45 seconds. Next one, we're going to go into a lunge matrix, which is 4 lunges. So lunge forwards, then lunge laterally, then lunge backwards, and then what's called a curtsy lunge. For these, the front, whichever leg is the front leg, okay, that's the one doing the work. So when I lunge forwards, I'm trying to drive through the floor, back. When I lunge laterally, that foot's doing all the work, push back. When I do the reverse lunge, this time, this front leg is doing all the work to pull myself back. And then when I do the lateral lunge, I want a little of the weight to go to the outside of the foot. Keep the big toe down, but feel that weight shift to the outside of the foot. And then you're really going to engage the outside of that hip. So through these 4 movements, we're hitting the hip, we're aiming to strengthen the hip in all movements. You can do this with weight if you want to, but again, you should be doing this for about 45 seconds. Ready? Off we go. So forwards, breathing as well, breathe in, out, in, out, in, outside of the foot, out, pushing off the front leg, pushing off the lateral leg, pushing off the front leg, outside of the front leg. That's 45 seconds. You can go for the full minute if you want to. Onto the other leg now. In 5, 3, 2, 1. Forwards, off the front foot. Lateral, off the side foot. Back, off the front foot. Curtsy, side of that front foot, outside of the hip. Again, breathing in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. So with all of these lunges, pushing off that front foot, mostly through the ball of the foot, apart from the curtsy lunge, where it's going to be more on the outside of the foot. Again, like you said, you can load this if you want to. That's a minute. Third movement, Captain Morgan's marching side planks. If you can't do the march, you're just going to do a plank hold. 20 to 30 seconds is more than enough. Feet, one in front of another, not on top. When I push into a side plank, I'm imagining I'm trying to squeeze my butt and push the floor away from me and almost trying to drag my elbow towards me. So I'm trying to get a straight line. So side plank, butt squeezed, quad squeezed, shoulder pushed away, straight line, 10 marches. Left and right is 1. Remember to breathe here. Okay, 10 marches, between 6 and 10, depending on where you are with the movement. Again, within the minute. Onto the other side. One foot in front of the other, butt squeezed, push the elbow into the floor, head neutral, in, out. Again, if the marching is too difficult, just hold the side plank, squeeze your butt, remember to breathe. So now we go back to the kickstand, so that's 1 round. We're going to repeat this whole thing 3 times in 10 seconds. So set yourself up, bend the leg, push the big toe into the floor. That's just the balance. Inhale. As you exhale, push that butt away. Don't let the knee move. So already I can feel my hamstring there. Breathe in. Feel my hands expand. Exhale. Drive that butt away from the knee. Don't let the knee bend, don't let the knee move. In. In. Push the butt away, push that big toe down. Constantly driving that big toe into the floor. Get as much engagement for your hamstring as you can. That's 45 seconds, and when I stand back up, I'm trying to stand up with my glute and my hamstring. Nothing through my back. Like I said, I can really feel it up there. Another leg, set it up. Foot for balance. Breathe in. Big toe down. Push the butt away. In. In. Push that butt away from the knee. Keep pushing that big toe down, keep pushing it down. Push that butt away, trying to lengthen it as much as you can. And legs starting to shake. Seconds. If I get cramp live on air, that'll be hilarious. Come on, push that butt away, push it away, push it away. And back up, glutes and hamstrings to push back up. Into the lunge matrix. In 3, 2, 1, off we go. Breathe in. Out, in, push the big toe down, out, laterally, outside of the foot, out, As you can see, my hips are very stiff on the lateral lunges. One of the reasons I've started doing a lot more of this stuff. If you have stiff hips, you have much more likelihood to start getting some sort of non-specific lower back pain. Not guaranteed, but if your hips don't move well, your body's going to move to the next joints, which is up here, and that's why a lot of people tend to get lower back pain. Moving on to the other leg in 3, 2, 1, off we go. Forwards. In, breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. In. Out. In. Outside of the foot. Keep the big toe down as well though. In. Find a rhythm. Notice I'm starting to breathe out from my mouth a little bit, mainly because my heart rate's gone up. And just by breathing through my nose, starting to get a bit uncomfortable, and we don't want this to be uncomfortable too much. Okay, 5 seconds. Back onto the side plank marches or static side planks. One foot in front of the other, butt squeezed, head neutral, pushing the floor away, in, out. Okay, so this movement in particular, strengthening down the inside of the hips there, inside of the thighs. Also, both hips, having to keep them square. 10 seconds and we're moving on to the other side. One foot in front of the other, ready to squeeze your butt. In 3, 2, 1, push the floor away. Squeeze, and off we go. In. One more cycle, back to the top for our hip hinges. So by now you should hopefully start to feel there and there. If you are feeling lower back, that's just telling you that you're arching, and we don't want to arch, we just want to get moving at this hip. So set yourself up, you bend, ball of the foot, other foot balance, in, push that big toe down, send that butt away. Inhale, feel the hands, lengthen the glute. Push that big toe down. Your foot's going to kind of want to do this. Focus on keeping that big toe down, don't let the little toe come off too. But it's all about getting some length from here. Push it away, don't let the knee move. So movement. Back up from here and here, squeeze. Really feel that. Same setup, knee bend, foot for balance, send the hips back. Keep the knee still. Breathe into the hands. Breathe out and push away. Push that big toe down. Grip the floor. This should not be comfortable. Yikes. Like I said, heel coming off the floor, absolutely fine. That's just through putting all that pressure through that big toe. And come back up, again through here, squeeze. Into our lunge matrix. You can see this is the bit, that's why we ramp up from the breathing into the rotation, into then the strength. This is the bit that's really challenging. Those earlier movements preparing you so you can really work hard and feel everything in these movements. Still matching my breathing to my movement. Five seconds rest before the next leg. 3, 2, 1, off we go. What you start to notice is when you do these, which side is tight. For me, as you can see, that is way tighter than my other side. Feels it. Never want to move through pain. Discomfort is okay. Any pain, A, slow it down. Go as far as you can comfortably go. Slow it down. B, regress the movement. You might even remove a movement to start with. So if the lateral lunge is particularly uncomfortable and painful, just do a step. Just get used to that hip loading on that side without going into a too deep a range of motion. Only you know what it feels like. Don't force yourself into a position. Okay, last set of planks. Foot in front of the other. Squeeze the butt. Head neutral. Don't let the head drop. Inhale. Exhale. That was a very challenging exercise. And again, regress, plank hold if you can't do the steps. If you can do the steps but not 10, reduce the rep range. Challenging but manageable is what we want this to be. Again, one foot in front of the other. Squeeze the glutes, push the shoulder away from the elbow. Head neutral. Right. There we go. 3 rounds. I'm very sweaty. I'm breathing a little heavier, and I've worked super hard. So through those movements, remember this is all about the lower body, connecting the foot to the ankle, to the calf, to the hamstring, to the glute. If we get super strong connection from the bottom up, I'm not saying it fixes and cures it, but you're going to have a lot less potential for getting this niggling lower back pain. Because like I said, if those hips don't move, if the ankle doesn't move very well, or the foot isn't very strong, that tends to mean the knee doesn't work well, and then that means the hip doesn't work well. So the body is going to find the next available joint to get the movement done, and 9 times out of 10 that's going to be the lower back. So those muscles just get overworked, and even though your lumbar spine, your lower spine is designed to move this way, it shouldn't be doing all of the work. So the more we can get our body to connect from our feet right up to our hips, the better quality, the better power and strength we're going to be able to use through those joints, then the less stress we're going to have on the lower back. So to finish off, we're just going to do some very simple supine laying down horizontal breathing. Before you lay down, if you're breathing heavy and quite hot after doing that, just do a sequence of some slow breathing. Get back to an even, about a 6-second inhale and a 6-second exhale, ideally all through the nose. Don't go into this horizontal breathing heavy like that. You want to get your breathing down a little bit first. So spend a minute or two, 30 seconds just walking around. Slow inhale, slow exhale. Once you've got back to there, we're going to do 3 minutes, lying completely flat on your back, legs straight, totally relaxed. I'm going to again put my hands in that position here. Put a cushion on your head if you want to. And I'm just going to inhale, feel my hands expand. I want my hands to expand outwards and my fingers here to extend upwards. So I'm not just breathing into my belly, I'm trying to breathe into this hold part here and up into my torso so my ribs also move. But we're going to do some longer exhales. So for 3 minutes, don't force this, don't time your exhales, just breathe in. Feel the hands expand and the ribs expand, and breathe out longer. And with that exhale, I want you to think about this, we're breathing through our nose, but the exhale, you almost want to feel it in your throat, so it's quite a deep, almost a growling. So breathe in. Inflate everything, exhale. Let everything sink and relax. In. Out. Find your rhythm. Start noticing that little pause at the top and the bottom of each breath. Just let the pause happen. Once you've done a few minutes, getting that sensation through your hands, just let the hands drop. Okay, so that breathing towards the end, anything from 3 to 5 minutes, or until you feel completely chilled and relaxed. We've ramped our body up from the activation exercises into the rotation, into the strength. The strength then has really challenged our nervous system. So like I said, I got sweaty, my heart rate was up, my breathing started to get a little bit heavier. So we need then to drop our nervous system back out, and that's where that simple 3 to 5 minutes of breathing comes in. And to be honest, anyone one of us who does any sort of training, we should do something like that at the end of every session. Whereas what we tend to do is finish the session, jump in the car, or maybe jump on our phones, and we're staying in that sort of slightly sympathetic, slightly stressed state. In order for us to recover properly, we need to be able to drop out. The sooner we can recover, the sooner we can get back to doing the things we want to do. So if you have an activity you love doing, regardless of what that is, that might be running competitively or just because you enjoy it. You might be into triathlons, anything like that, surfing, skateboarding, rock climbing, whatever it is. These sessions are designed so that you can keep doing those things. They're not designed to replace them. It's not designed to replace yoga or replace your sessions in the gym. These are designed so that you can actually keep doing them. So each session is going to be one for the upper body, one for the lower body initially. I'm also going to do some more stuff online, but I have a list of injuries a mile long: broken ankles, broken wrists, pins and screws, lower back pain for 10 years, potential something called ankylosing spondylitis, which I'm still in the process of being diagnosed for. So I've arguably been in pain fairly consistently for the past 20 years. I've trained hard, weight training, Olympic weightlifting, all these sort of things, and I've done mobility, I've done all this stuff, but I haven't consistently found something that works. In the time I've been combining these exercises, I've had huge improvements, particularly with my back pain. And my hips might not look like it, but they move a lot better than they used to. I'm now 50 years old, and I'm arguably, I'd say, probably moving a little better than I was when I was 40. And I've only been doing this type of thing for the last 6 to 8 months. But the benefits I've seen with all the people I work with through these simple activation and rotation movements, the joints that take a lot of hammering from the exercises and the activities we do, and also from we sit down a lot. You know, we sit down at work, we sit down in cars, we sit down at home. So these are designed, you could do these on their own and get a huge amount of benefit from them. But doing these alongside your chosen activity means that you can keep doing that activity that you love doing for much, much longer, hopefully for the rest of your life. Or even start doing something new that you didn't think you could do a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. So hopefully you enjoyed that. You can use this free session, you can do this as much as you like, but the sessions I run are going to have 4 or 5 different variations of these. Some to hit the kind of front of the legs a little bit more, some to work the glutes a little bit more, some for the hamstrings, but they will all work it that way. Breathing first, then activation, then rotation, then strength, and then bring it all down again, so it kind of works like a wave. So, thank you for following along. Any questions about anything, about the sessions I'm going to be running, shoot me a message. I'm on Instagram, at the Anti-Fragile Movement. You can message me on there. I'm on Facebook, or my email address, which you'll see from my website. Get in contact if you want any more info, or just come along to the sessions. They're coached consistently throughout. So if you can't feel certain muscles or you're having trouble with them, that's my job. That's why I'm there, to help you find those muscles and really own those movements. Then the idea is you can then take those movements and you can do them at home, you can come to the sessions, whatever. I just want to get this stuff out there because I've seen firsthand in myself and my clients I've worked with how incredibly beneficial they are. Share this with somebody you think might get some use out of it. Other than that, have an awesome day, week, month, year, and hopefully see you soon.